Major.
Welcome back to Life After the Show, episode number 9. It is playoff time. It is near the end of the season, and today we're going to get into everything relating to playoffs, the AL East, who's going to win it, what are the scenarios, and how we're leading up to the playoffs. You ready?
Yeah, things are getting chippy right now, dude. 5 games left.
Let's go. So, 5 games left in the season. The Yankees came off a bye. Last night, they won in pretty fun fashion. A little bit of a walk-off there in the end. Let's actually, to start, talk about that last play, because I texted you about it. I know the other team didn't have a ton to play for, but that center fielder could have dove for that ball and caught it, in my opinion.
Dude, 2 outs? Yeah, no.
2 outs?
No.
Come on.
Instead of trying to throw him out at home, the guy just Michael Taylor just lets it drop right in front of him. And again, we know I love my White Sox, and if you followed any bit of my career, bro, you know I was going to die for that ball. People used to say I would die for things just to die for them. So with that being said, he definitely could have dove for that ball. Game on the line? I don't know, man. I didn't like that.
That effort there, like he could have slid into it maybe, like slid and kind of tried to scoop into it. He could have dove for it. There's a lot of things. If that was Yankees versus Blue Jays, the center fielder of the Blue Jays is diving for that all day.
Superman dive.
Yeah, you're going for that. But let's just get into the playoff picture here. So if the season ended right now, the Yankees would be the 4 seed, and they would play the Yankees in the wild card in New York or they play the Red Sox in New York in the wild card. That's a big series right there. But what we're going to talk about today is we're hoping that that's not the case, because there is a scenario still of the Yankees winning the AL East. But as of right now, the Blue Jays are winning that. They'll have the 1 seed and have a bye. Won't play in the wild card, and it'll be Yankees Red Sox. But let's go over some of the scenarios of this, because right before we started recording, you said Yankees are winning the AL East.
I want them to win the AL East, selfishly. So, I mean, look, I don't know. This season's been crazy. As far as, like, the ups and downs, I mean, the Yankees were the best in the AL East at one point, then everyone's calling for Boone's head at some point. Right now, they're 1 game out from potentially winning, I guess, tying it. You know, Blue Jays have the tiebreaker over them, which is still going to be interesting. I think the Yankees are in favor of or have a favorable schedule right now, given the fact that they're playing the White Sox and the Orioles to finish, and then you got the Blue Jays playing the Red Sox right now. That's tough. So right now, I think the Yankees are in a really comfortable spot to win. We did see the other day that Boone said that they're going to push Carlos Rodon back, which means that Fried would go back as well. That's just to give them 5 days rest heading into the playoffs. You don't know what's going to happen. I know that the way that the schedule is ending right now, that there's going to be a lot of things that come into play with how the playoffs are going to look. And obviously pushing those guys back, you want them to be on regular rest. But if they sneak that first place, then they will have regular rest with a little more days on top of it. So I think it's just going to be interesting to see. I mean, we said off camera, like, the way that this season is ending, and with both teams' playoffs clinched, the Blue Jays and the Yankees, things get interesting because sometimes teams coast into the playoffs. But right now, 1 game back from the Blue Jays, it's got to be foot on the gas. I mean, clear eyes, full heart, can't lose mentality right now with the Yankees. And I think that the Blue Jays right now are going to be the ones that feel a little bit of pressure. So pressure does 1 of 2 things, dude. Makes diamonds or bust pipes. So we're going to see what the Blue Jays have at the end of this stretch.
Yeah, which we didn't say, but last night, Blue Jays and Yankees are now both officially clinched for the playoffs. So they're in. There's a little bit of a celebration in the locker room. There's some crazy clips, dude. Was it Bellinger? That was
saw a lot of girls saying he's just like us. That
was insane.
I'm sure in that moment he was not aware of what he created, and instantly after he's probably like, God damn, I just created a meme.
Yeah, he was in a meme. So let's talk about what the Yankees' path is to win the AL East. If the Yankees win their next 5 straight and the Blue Jays go 3-2, Yankees win the AL East. Sorry. Essentially, Yankees have to win 4 games, Blue Jays 2, for the Yankees to win it. And you can break that down in a couple different ways. But the Blue Jays do have the easier path there in terms of like wins that they need. But with the opponent wise, it seems like the Yankees has a little bit of an easier path there.
Dude, they've got the momentum, you know? I mean, they were down last night in the ninth inning, scored 3 runs. Michael Taylor handed them that dub, and they clinched the playoffs. And then obviously you see that the Blue Jays lose, and they're the ones playing the Red Sox. And the thing that's interesting about the two teams' final games of the schedule is that the Yankees are playing 2 teams that have fucking nothing to play for. And the Blue Jays, I don't know who. I need to see who their next series is after the Red Sox, but they're facing the Red Sox, who are still trying to make sure that they punch their ticket to the wild card. So the difference in how those teams prepare and how they play, like again, if it was the Red Sox on the other side of that play last night, the center fielder's laying out. Like, you got to go balls to the wall mentality. So all 3 of these teams, Blue Jays, Yankees, Red Sox, are all playing for something, regardless of two of the 3 clinching the playoff berth. But it's going to be interesting. I mean, I know that the way that wild card is shaken up right now, you've got the Cleveland Guardians who are going crazy. I mean, they are going crazy, and they're on the heels of the Red Sox for that wild card game. And I did see, which we could fact check too, I think that the Guardians tied the Tigers for first place in their division, and they're playing the Tigers right now. So, with that being said, I mean, the Guardians are hot whenever it matters the most, which could mean that they could be one of the scariest sleeper teams going into the playoffs. But I don't know. They're always in the playoffs, haven't won the World Series. I was a Guardian at one point, got traded so they could try to win the World Series. Still lost. Appreciate that. I got traded for fucking nothing. Um, so yeah, I mean, a lot of like the playoffs is I mean, like zooming out, I've never seen how excited it is from the outside. On the inside, you're kind of hyper focused on your own scenario, but the way that all these other teams are kind of coming into shape at the very end of the season is, I mean, the fucking script makers are going crazy.
Yeah, and like I kind of mentioned a few episodes ago, this happened last year with the Braves and the Mets, where they ended up coming down to playing each other in the final 2 games to make it into the playoffs. In reality, after the fact, you look back, it wasn't that like crazy of a scenario because both those teams sucked. But yeah, there's a lot of scenarios where Yankees get in. We were talking about the Guardians. I was trying to look up what you said. There's a battle going on right now. I can't find exactly. Um, what's going on. The Mets won last night, so they're in control of the last place in the wild card. Um, I don't know. This is going to be very, very interesting to see where they go. The Blue Jays play the Rays their final 3 games, who are now officially eliminated from the playoffs. So they're not going to have a lot to play for, especially that's the final series of the year. But like you said, that White Sox center fielder, you can show he didn't have much to play for. He's not getting injured, catching that ball to stop the Yankees from winning the AL East. I mean,
I still even think playing the Rays the final like series of the year is not easy. You know, I mean, I know that the Yankees and the Rays want to act like they got super bad blood. Selfishly, I think that the Rays would like to see the Blue Jays win the division more.
it's a
You know?
division rival.
Yeah.
It's a matchup. They're 76 and 81, so they're not last place. The Orioles are in last place, but they're 10 games back from the Red Sox. Still a competitive team this year.
For sure. Still a team that can beat anyone. And I know that the crazy thing is this, like talking about, I know we're kind of going back and forth, but the Blue Jays and the Red Sox game tonight, I'm pretty sure it's Garrett Crochet on the mound for the Red Sox, which I don't know if you've ever seen that guy pitch. He is a demon. He's like 6'5, 270 lefty, pumps 98, 99 with the mentality of like, here's my best pitch. Let's see if you can hit it type thing. So it's a very losable game for the Blue Jays tonight. So if the Yankees go out again, they're playing the the White Sox. If they go out, handle business, we could easily be looking at a tied AL East with 4 games left in the season. So I don't know. I have no idea how it's going to shape up. I just know that selfishly, I want to see them win. I will be in New York during that time. The AL East wild card doesn't favor my schedule as much. So if the Yankees can win it, have a few games at home there around October 4th, I'll be there. I'll be there for 2 things. So would love to see that happen. So Boone, do not let me down. But with all that being said, a few things that I think that will be interesting to see down this final stretch is how they're going to manage that bullpen. and what they're going to do and how these roles are going to be fulfilled, because I know that they have multiple closers that have pitched different innings throughout the year, and they've tried to finagle them in certain scenarios to see how they're going to operate. Obviously, we've got David Bednar, who's kind of like locked down that closing role and been the guy that they need him to be. Devin Williams is going to be interesting to see. Luke Weaver is going to be interesting to see. I just think that the way that the lay of the land is going to look these final days is that you're going to see a very close to playoff roster lineup being put out there. Um, so with that being said, I would love to see where Volpe's going to kind of like line up in that, because Jose Caballero was the one that hit the walk-off last night.
Mm.
Even though that was a dud of a hit,
Yeah, it's
still
slow.
landed in.
Yeah.
Who knows what would have happened if it was Volpe in the batter's box. I would love to see how Judge's arm's going to look in right field.
We haven't seen. Has there been any inkling of? Has he made any attempts that would show any signs?
I haven't seen anything. I mean, I'd love to think the thought that, like, game on the line, Judge is going to let it eat with no regard of what could happen to his arm. That's just the kind of guy that he is. But again, I think that teams, again, this is me not seeing a ton of stuff lately on the throws, but I would like to think that some of these teams are going to test that arm in the playoffs. Given the fact that we've talked a few times on this episode where he's lobbed some balls in, or they're getting interesting with the routes that he's taking in the outfield, creative routes. It just begs the question of, where does that arm really stand? So we know what he's going to look like in the playoffs. He's like got 16 homers. We know Stanton's creeping up there as far as all-time Yankees home runs list. I think he's got 18. So we've got a lot of guys with success in the playoffs on that team. But you also have a really young roster in terms of some starters that they'll have, like Will Warren, Luis Hill, Cam Slitter. When you go into the thought of it's a 3-game series in the wild card, and you have 2 of the 3 starters that are established veterans out there, Rodon and Max Fried. Obviously, they're missing Garrett Cole this year, which that would be an insane 1-2-3 punch if you've got those guys. But that's a different rotation as far as a 5-game series, in my opinion, because at that point, you're going to have 2 guys. You know what it's going to be like. You know how they've played in the playoffs. You know what it's going to look like. But then you've got Luis Hill, Will Warren, and Cam Slitter, all 3 guys where it's like, these are some young dudes at the end of a series where you really need to know what they're going to be like. Lights get bright. Fans look like they've got rabies in the stands. They're screaming so loud. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be a fun time in the Bronx.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how the schedule plays out for us wise going there, because you definitely are prepping to go there. I'm gonna try to figure it out with my work schedule. I know I don't have a traditional work schedule, but figure it out with my filming schedule and see where it's at, because there's some other stuff going on in New York at the same time, and we haven't fully figured out, we haven't figured out like what the scope of what it would look like when we're there, but um, there's some fun stuff that can happen.
Oh, yeah, no. As far as like a live show maybe, or posting up at a bar, or I don't know.
Clint will get drunk.
Yeah, hammered, blacked out, saying crazy shit, canceled on the air. That's the goal. If I'm not getting canceled after this trip, then I didn't try hard enough.
The MVP race is a huge talk right now, as well as obviously playoffs. If you're a Yankees fan, you're saying Aaron Judge should get it. But the race right now, which I don't know at this current moment what it is, but I think yesterday the odds were exactly the same. It was like -150 for both of them to win it, for Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh. We've been keeping an eye on it. Cal Raleigh took a little bit of he slowed down with his home runs for a while. He was like 50, and he cranked it up. He's at 58 now, which is number 1 for home runs. But I'm going to quickly go over some of the top-of-the-line stats for each of them and where they're at, and then we'll get your reaction, Clint, to who should be. I kind of have an idea of who you think should be MVP this year, but let's start with the batting average. Aaron Judge is batting a .325, which is in first place right now. Cal Raleigh is batting a .245, which is tied for 105th in the league. It's pretty low. Home runs, Aaron Judge has 49, which is 4th. Cal Raleigh is first with 58. RBIs, Aaron Judge is 9th with 105. Cal Raleigh has 121. He is ranked 3rd. And then OPS, Aaron Judge has 1121. Kyle Raleigh has a 945. The 945 is fourth, and 1121 is obviously first. So those are the top of the line stats. Those aren't everything. It's not WAR. It's not all these different stats, but those are some of the main ones right there.
Did you say 1121 OPS?
Yep.
Oh
I think that went up since we last talked about it.
Oh my God. Okay, let's just start it with this. I saw a tweet not too long ago. I think it was like 7-8 days ago. Bookmarked it. The guy's name was not Gaetti. I don't know how to say it. But basically, he was talking about the MVP talk, and he said one of his favorite things that he saw was that if you take away 180 points from Cal Raleigh, he's an average major league hitter. I don't know exactly. He'd still have 58 homers. But if you take away 180 points from Judge, he's Cal Raleigh. So probably even higher. I can't do math like that on the spot. But with that being said, for me, when I hear that, it really puts into perspective, okay, yeah, they're having both really, really historic seasons. But when you minus the OPS of one person and he becomes semi-average, and then you minus the other OPS from the other guy and he becomes that guy, it just goes to show that this guy is bulldozing the competition. It puts into perspective, dude. I know that people get confused. There's some metrics and some numbers, and a lot of them are eyewash, and there's a lot of people that want to pull you in the direction of this way and be like, well, this one's more important than this one. And people try to say that batting average doesn't matter. I can't remember the last guy that won the MVP with that low of a batting average either. I want to say that the closest like MVP that won that with the batting average was like 268, 269 something, and it was a while ago. It was a name that was like during the electricians and plumbers era that we've talked about. Yeah. So with that being said, I just don't want people to get too caught up in the fact that Cal Raleigh plays catcher, and that's why he should win the MVP. The WARs are way different. Judge has like 7 less games. Yes, he has a few less RBIs. Yes, he has a few less home runs. But the other numbers are, for me, what outweighs everything.
Yeah, and if talking about games played, Cal Raleigh has 52 more at-bats than Aaron Judge. So, I mean, that's a huge discrepancy there with that. If Judge had 50 more at-bats, you think he could have gotten 8 or 9 more home runs?
Bruh, I've seen him do insane things in 50 at-bats. And I've also seen him get walked 34, 35 times too. So situations like this, it's just appreciate what's happening in front of you. Both guys are having insane seasons. You're going to have some questionable people that get votes as far as who gets to win the MVP. And I think that the betting odds stuff is super interesting. Like, I hate seeing the betting odds stuff because it makes me think that something's going on behind the scenes. Like, they already know who's going to win it.
I have the odds up if you want to hear it. So as of right now, Aaron Judge is a minus 150. So
Okay.
It's shifted back to him. Cal Raleigh's a plus 110. So it shifted a little bit. Maybe I don't think Cal Raleigh played last night.
Maybe I don't hate the odds as much anymore.
But this is what I wanted to bring up to you because this is crazy. The NL MVP favorites. Ohtani is a minus 10,000 favorite over Kyle Schwarber. Absolutely disrespectful. Not even a chance for Kyle Schwarber. Now, I know that's NL doesn't really matter. I want to compare their stats very quickly, their top of the line stats. Now, Kyle Schwarber's got a low batting average, 241, 54 home runs, 130 RBIs, which is first in the league, and a 929 OPS. Ohtani has a 282 batting average, 53 home runs, 99 RBIs, and a 1011 OPS, which is second. That gap is closer than Judge and Cal Raleigh if we're looking at the stats. Like that, Aaron Judge has a farther. There's certain metrics, but like to be minus 10,000 in the NL when the stats are not that crazy off. They're 1 home run difference. Kyle Schwarber has 31 more RBIs. The OPS is 0.80 difference, whereas Judge has got like a 200 difference. And then the batting averages, Ohtani's tied 22nd, and Kyle Schwarber is tied for 113th. So it's like Kyle Schwarber has basically Kyle Raleigh's batting average. But I don't know. That's what, to me, it's crazy. When I saw minus 10,000, it's like they're not even giving Kyle Schwarber a thought.
I think it probably just has to do with the fact that Ohtani's pitching. I mean, I know he's not pitching at a rate that he threw like in the past. I think I saw his ERA was up in the 4s or something like that. But I mean, that's tough. That's disrespectful. That's
Yeah.
insane.
16-1 for Kyle Schwarber's.
Minus 10,000? That's where it's fishy. Where it's like, why is one so much further along than the other one? If it has to do with the fact that he's just pitching with it, then just give him the fucking MVP every year. You know what I mean? He's gonna pump 50 homers every single season as long as he's healthy. And then Judge is gonna do the same. I don't know if Cal Raleigh's gonna pump 50 next year. We know Cal Schwarber's gonna hit a lot too. Cal Raleigh surprised everybody, which is why I think that MVP talk is so polarizing with him, is because you have a guy that kind of popped up out of nowhere. I think he hit 34-ish home runs last year. He's been a big name. Obviously, he's been somebody that people know who he is, but it's not in the same talks of Ohtani, Judge, Schwarber, those kind of guys where it's like, hey, they've done this every single season at a rate where the MVP talk is just basically theirs every year. So I think that people want to make it interesting, kind of make it more of a discussion than it probably should be. I don't know if I'm being biased. I think if you asked me and if you asked other people, like honestly, like realistically, like what they should do is go around and poll some players and say, what season would you rather have? Would you rather have Aaron Judge's season right now or Cal Raleigh's season? And I think that you would see that majority of them would probably be like, dude, I want to be hitting 326 as well with 1100,
Yeah, 1100
OPS.
OPS.
Like the 247 is something that basically everybody can do.
245.
245, my bad. Something everybody can do. I mean, I mean, I know that people want to get away from the fact and say that batting average doesn't really matter. It's OPS that matters, which that is super, super true. Batting average is not always a good representation of how good of a hitter you are. But in Judge's case, when you're first.
And then look at the OPS.
Yes, bro. It's not
both.
even a talk. I'm not even trying to glaze the guy. Like, that shit is insane. It's insane in today's baseball age to do what both of them are doing, but to do what Judge is doing every single year. It's fucking crazy. Again, it's why I say he's the best Yankee of all time. He just needs that ring for me to be right. But with all that being said, give the MVP to Judge. Give him minus 10,000. It's not going to happen. I'm still seeing people out there. I'm seeing a lot of people on air, a lot of people getting airtime saying Cal Raleigh's the MVP, and I just want to write back, shut the fuck up. It's all for clicks. Shut up.
Look at the stats.
Look at the stats.
Use your
I
eyes.
don't care if he's got a few more home runs. I really don't. Look at the career home run difference numbers.
And then look at the at-bats. 52 less at-bats.
Which, yeah, I mean, we could say this, we could say that. I mean, we could say that he'd have X amount of homers in those at-bats. We don't know. But what we do know is Judge is hitting 326 with an 1,100 plus OPS, postseason bound. Both teams postseason bound. I can't remember exactly when they give that MVP award out.
I think is it after the season?
It is, and I think that some of it can be slightly
mid-November they're announced.
Yeah, I think some of it can be slightly biased in how they do in the playoffs too. People love to be like, well, if you take him off the team, would they make the playoffs? And it's like, probably not. I don't know if either team would make the playoffs if either guy were off the roster. But
so the voting is done before the World Series, but after the season concludes. That's like leaving room for some postseason bias to be in there. And when it's a regular season award.
Yeah. And here's the flip side of it, bruh. Judge is like, again, you can fact check all you want in the comments, say whatever you want. Like I said, pretty sure Bernie Williams leads the way as far as postseason home run leader for the Yankees. Stands, I think, at 18. Judge is at 16. So let's just say Judge sneaks out 7 homers, takes over the lead, and he's got the most home runs in Yankees postseason history. Does he win the MVP because of that? Because then at that point, he's going to be at mid 50s, a little bit more than, I don't know, what is he at, 50 homers?
53, I think.
Yeah.
Or 49, sorry.
49. He'll be mid 50s homers range. We don't know what Cal Raleigh's going to do. We know Judge is going to pump some homers in the postseason. So figure it out. I wish I had a vote. I wish we all had a vote. I wish there was I don't
An
know.
online poll.
Yeah, but that would be crazy because whenever you look at the way that the All-Star ballot goes, like
Yeah.
some of these dudes, like
There's some bias
they'll have
going
a
on in
full
there.
team as the starters out there. Remember the Cubs at one point had like their full infield, full team as starters. Fans are crazy. If that was the case, then the entire country of Japan is voting for Ohtani, and no one's gonna win. So with all that being said, postseason's coming up. We're excited to see how it's going to happen. My hot take's the Yankees are going to win the AL East. My other hot take is that the Phillies are going to win the World Series. So we'll see how it shapes up.
Yeah, definitely. Make sure you guys check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcast. Clint most likely will be going live after the remainder of these games that are coming up, depending on anything else happening. But you guys should see that on this channel. He will be live. Come chat, chop it up, get his reaction to the end of the game, and we will see you guys in episode 10.
Thank you.